there are new developments, like in real time. And so I figured I'd pop on to discuss with you guys, because I figure people are probably coming to my page to look at videos. But I figure while I'm reading them, since the hearing's going to be in about 20 minutes, I could just come on and discuss them. And then I can upload this live to YouTube later, for those who would like to watch me read these in real time. There it goes. Here's the documents. There they go. Okay, so the first opposition. So 2 documents have been filed. One is a joinder by Jody Montgomery for the ex parte application for an order advancing the September 29th hearing on the petition to remove Jaime Spears as conservator of the estate or for his immediate suspension. So we know yesterday there was a ex parte request. Breakfast is still sitting here. There was an ex parte request to have the hearing that is currently set for September 29th filed by Matthew Rosengart, Britney Spears' attorney. There was a request to have that hearing date moved up to August 23rd, which is the amount of time that is provided by the probate code. It's the 15 days notice that is provided by the probate code for these types of motions, i.e. today until that date provides the 15-day notice period. And Jaime Spears would not be entitled to any more notice. And so that is the earliest that this could be heard after this ex parte application to have it expedited or advanced. Hello. So Jody Montgomery, as conservator of the person, filed a joinder in that hearing stating Miss Montgomery fully and unequivocally, yeah, I know, Adam, it's the Britney Spears stuff. People are here for that for the most part. It happened. I know. It's bananas. Undeserving, but appreciative. And also no one in my personal life cares. Hey. So Miss Montgomery fully and unequivocally supports Miss Spears' ex parte application and the relief it requests for the exigent and important reasons. Next up 1 million. Yeah, we'll see about that. For the exigent and important reasons set forth in the ex parte, to wit, for an order. So we join. Miss Montgomery fully supports Britney Spears' attorney's request for an order setting the petition for removal on or after August 23rd, in paren, 15-day statutory notice, which is what we just discussed, but no later than September 5th, 30 days after filing. And in the alternative, for an order, so if you choose court not to grant our request to advance the hearing, okay, just suspend Jaime Spears as conservator of the estate and replace him with Jason Rubin as temporary conservator of the estate pending the noticed hearing. So September 28th is going to come, September 29th. September 29th is going to come. You don't want to advance the hearing. Fair. Can you just suspend Jaime in the meantime? It's only 2 months. And direct Jaime Spears to surrender the estate to the temporary conservator appointed by the court or other person legally entitled thereto. What have you missed? Excuse me. I took the day off today because I own the firm and I can take a fucking day off. I don't know why I'm trying to, like, all of a sudden I'm mad. Like, I just told you I took the day off and now I'm giving you like a reason, and I'm mad that I'm giving a reason even though I'm the one who brought it up. I took the day off today and this happened to also fall into that. So I figured I'd just go live. I just got notice that there was a joinder filed by Jody Montgomery. So I just reviewed that. Basically, she's just saying, hey, we fully support and join in the petition or the ex parte application to advance the September 29th hearing for removal of Jaime Spears. Fully support that. Also, in the alternative, court, if that's something that you choose not to do for whatever reason, can you just suspend Jaime for the moment? It's okay, breathe. I know. Boom. Okay, so that's what we got. But even more importantly, we got our first information from Vivian Thoreen, first filing from Jaime Spears. Opposition to non-appearance. Let's see, how long is this? Ooh, quite long. 13 pages, including some declarations. So buckle up. And it's going to happen in 13 minutes. What are the chances of the hearing being moved up, in your opinion? I don't see, unless the court calendar can't support it, or the court specifically finds that there's a separate reason. Well, let's see what the opposition says first. Second. Same judge. Vivian Thoreen is Jaime Spears' attorney. Has been for a while. Why do you think Britney suddenly got her first iPad? I don't know. What are declarations? Why does that mean buckle up? Buckle up because the hearing's going to happen in 12 minutes and we've got our first response by Jaime Spears. Declarations are statements by a person involved in the litigation. Sometimes they can be from attorneys, just providing the facts, because declaration is signed under penalty of perjury. And so it provides you facts that can be used in connection with the motion. So if you ask the court to do something, you're asking them to do it based off of something, right? In this case, court, I need you to act because it's in Britney's best interest to replace somebody. How do we know? Well, we've got a declaration stating, here's how Jaime's acted. Here's what Britney has said. Here's what has been discussed in court. Jody Montgomery has these facts. You know, the medical team also requests this and thinks it's a good idea. So those are all included in declarations that are signed under penalty of perjury. Otherwise, anybody can say anything. Yes. Jaime's lawyers have responded. So I just pulled that up. I just saw it. And when I saw it, I was like, I'm just going to go live. And then once I review it, I can make some videos discussing it. But I figured if you want to go live with me, we can discuss it and we'll all find out at the same time. Jaime Spears, conservator of the estate of Britney, respectfully submits his opposition. This is boilerplate language. Boilerplate is just like standard, take it from everything. Number one, Mr. Spears does not oppose the request to advance the September 29th hearing date. Interesting. And what the fuck's the opposition for? On July 26th, Miss Spears, Britney's new counsel. I try to, there's a lot of Miss Spears, Mr. Spears. It goes really, as I'm reading, because I read pretty fast, especially when I'm talking to you guys and I'm trying to read this and that at the same time. So I try to intersperse where it says in here, Miss Spears, Mr. Spears, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to try to use their first names so it's easier for all of us. On July 26th, Britney's new counsel, Matthew Rosengart, filed Conservative's verified petition for suspension and removal of Jaime Spears, the petition for removal, and the petition for appointment of successor probate conservator of the estate, collectively the petition. So that's how they're going to refer to them. Although the petitions were initially set for hearing on December 13th, at a hearing in this matter on July 14th, the court approved an earlier date. So the hearings on both petitions were advanced to September 29th, which is true. Rosengart was present in court on July 14th, but made no request for an earlier date. Footnote, the other date offered by the court as an alternative is one on which Rosengart stated that they have a conflict because, among other reasons, it is a Jewish holiday. That's your footnote. That does not sit right with me. Okay. Unless is August 23rd a Jewish holiday. That is the only reason why that would be relevant. No. Yeah. So for those who miss that, what he's saying here, what Jamie Spears' attorney is saying here is, listen, and I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try to control the dogs. They're in a different room. I'm going to just let them be. There's all kinds of shit going on outside of my window right now. There's nothing I can do. So the hearings, the petitions that Britney's new attorney filed, petition to remove Jamie and appoint Jason Rubin, both, when they were originally filed, handed to the court clerk to be filed, were set in December. Then the parties came together for an unrelated hearing, and Rosengart said, hey, we'd like to have these petitions also heard when everything else has been set on September 29th. Court said, fine. What Jamie Spears' attorney is saying here is, hey, we were all present on July 14th, which is true. And Rosengart made no request for an earlier date, which is notable. I mean, it's an argument. It's an argument. But the footnote says the other date offered by the court as an alternative, Rosengart said he has a conflict because, among other reasons, it's a Jewish holiday. So if Christianity wasn't so widely recognized in the United States, that would be like me going to court and saying, Your Honor, I can't appear on December 25th. That's a religious holiday for me. Why the fuck does that matter? Anyway. Almost 2 weeks later, Mr. Rosengart filed the hearing that they're all going to go on in 6 minutes, ex parte application seeking to further advance the hearing on the petitions to the earliest date this court's calendar will permit, on or after August 23rd, on the grounds that it is in the best interest of the conservatee. The ex parte application relies on the same declarations that were filed in support of the petitions, so what does that mean? The ex parte application that is currently before the court that will be decided this morning is advancing the September date to this month or immediate suspension of Jamie, appointing Jason Rubin. So what the opposition here is saying, you're using the same evidence in your ex parte application to advance the hearing as you did for your petition itself. So if it was exigent circumstances, if what you're saying right now is it's exigent circumstances need to have the hearing advanced, those exigent circumstances based on the same evidence would have been present when you originally filed your petitions. So perhaps there isn't any, is what the argument is. Exigent circumstances meaning like, hey, this is a fucking emergency. There's a fire. We need to get this done now. I'm going to do my best to like kind of read through. Let me get through each paragraph and then I will. Indeed, adding only Mr. Rosengart's own declaration that was new, which is comprised of unsubstantiated, vague accusations and a false statement about Miss Spears about Jamie opposing a trip to Hawaii. So he's saying that story was false. Indeed, Mr. Rosengart's declaration does not and cannot specify what the wrongdoing is or the particular actors who have allegedly committed the wrongdoing, which is true. Rosengart's declaration attached to his ex parte application yesterday. I know that there's a lot of big words that, if you're not a lawyer, are being thrown around. So I'll do my best to slow down and try to break this down a little bit better. I apologize. So what this is saying is Mr. Rosengart's declaration that was attached yesterday, which is the evidentiary backing for these motions, identified this Hawaii trip as part of the reason. But in his own declaration, he did say Mr. Spears or one of his agents or something told Britney that she couldn't go to Hawaii because it was unnecessary. He doesn't specifically say that Mr. Spears said that it was unnecessary, so that's true. This statement is true. Accordingly, Mr. Spears affirmatively objects to all of the declarations cited and filed in support of the ex parte application. But wouldn't the circumstances be changed when Jaime started moving funds? We have no information that happened. Hello. Do they have to disclose any and all discovery for this? I haven't seen any discussions of discovery in this. And I don't see any basis for that at this point. I think that would be some discovery. Right now, feels like Rosengard's trying to put out the fire. You don't really need discovery on that. You're just trying to get those motions filed and heard. Discovery may happen more, and discovery being the exchange of documents, the asking of questions, the having of depositions, etc. That would be more, that would likely happen more once Jaime's removed, and then they start going through what has happened over the last 13 years would be my understanding. If you're not opposing, why does it seem like you're making excuses? Yeah. Well, he objects to the declaration, but he's not opposing this specifically. And that may be just him trying to say like, hey, I'm not opposing this. Remember, court, I'm not opposing this. So when you go to look at the evidence that's there for me to be removed, remember, I'm not opposing this. I'm not opposing this. Yes, this is Jaime's response to what was filed yesterday. That will be heard in 2 minutes. So if he is suspended, then his monthly paycheck would stop? Yes. Do you think it was strategic that they waited until the last minute to submit a response? No, I don't know when they were served. There is another footnote. On August 5th, Rosengart counsel for Britney served 2 identical ex parte applications with the same title seeking the same relief, but Jaime assumes that only one was filed. That may have just been a service error. But this isn't last minute. Ex parte applications are shortened time frames. You only have to give, I believe in California, it's changed to you need to let the other party know before 10 a.m. the prior day. So if the hearing is this morning at 10 a.m., you need to let them know yesterday at 10 a.m., before 10 a.m., that it's going to be heard today. So it's not necessarily that he last minute opposed it. He didn't even have notice of it until yesterday. So somebody said, is it possible he could be removed today? It's possible he could be suspended today. Let's see. But not like full on removed. Hi. I didn't even see stuff come in. I'm gonna just be behind. Sorry. And congratulations, Steph, on having your student loans forgiven. Fucking amazing. Proud of you. It's 10. Yay. So we'll see what happens. Will he have to pay back this month pay? We'll see. But I mean, truly in the scope of things, $16,000 right now is not the big issue. What would the harm in the court? What would be the harm in the court suspending him? Arguably, we'll get into it in a second, probably, because I assume that's going to be the basis of their opposition. But my assumption would be this is a massive estate and a lot of moving parts, management, Britney's schedule. I mean, all kinds of things. Britney's different companies. So I assume Jaime's opposition would be, hey, yeah, you may think that it's time for me to be removed, but that's a process. And it can't be done overnight. And it's going to take some time. As they've kind of drug a lot of things out in this, I would assume that would be his opposition. Are there any journalists live tweeting? Good question. Let me see if I can find out. I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything. Okay, let me get back to the opposition. Further, there's absolutely no urgency justifying ex parte relief, and Mr. Rosengart has alleged no such emergency. California rules of court, applicant must make an affirmative factual showing in a declaration containing competent testimony based on personal knowledge of irreparable harm, immediate danger, or other statutory basis for granting relief ex parte. If this matter was urgent, as Mr. Rosengart claims it is, why wasn't this ex parte application concurrently filed with the petitions on July 26th or addressed on July 14th? What has changed since then? Nothing. This ex parte application would have been entirely unnecessary if Mr. Rosengart had informed the court of his intentions at the hearing on July 14, or even if he had conferred with the undersigned on this matter. Nevertheless, although there is no urgency justifying ex parte relief and no requisite showing of good cause has been shown, Mr. Spears does not object to advancing the September 29 hearing to the court's next available hearing date on or after August 23rd, 2021. If there is a date that works for the court, Mr. Spears will not object. Feels like a whole lot of words to say, no worries. Whatever. Number 2, the heading, the court need not consider the alternative request for suspension. Don't you worry about that whole suspension thing. We're good. By its own terms, the ex parte application simply asks that the pending hearing be advanced to the earliest date under the code and that this court's calendar will permit. The request for suspension is made only as this is interesting, only as an alternative request if the primary relief is opposed or rejected. Mr. Rosengart is not asking for Mr. Spears' suspension if the court is able to advance the September 29th hearing on the petition. So he's saying, hey, Rosengart, and I'd have to pull up the other motion, but hey, Rosengart said, either advance it to August 23rd or suspend Jaime in the interim. We're not opposing the first one, so you all don't need the second. Thus, the analysis stops here, and the court need not address the alternative relief requested in the ex parte application. We don't need a suspension because we're not opposing the advancement of the date. To be clear, if the court grants the first request for relief in the ex parte application, it must strike and deny the second request for relief, which is set forth incorrectly in the proposed order. Let me see that. Is there a difference between how it was presented? Let me see. Is the proposed order in here? Let's see a proposed order. I never saw a proposed order. Yeah, and his request, Rosengart's request in his motion does say he requests 1 for an order setting the petition for removal no later than on or after August 23rd, but no later than September 5th. And number 2, in the alternative. So Jaime is correct. In the alternative, for an order suspending Jaime Spears as conservator and replacing him with Jason Rubin and directing Jaime to surrender the estate. You're fine. I have 3-minute videos on TikTok. I have that. I've seen a couple people ask me about that. I only utilize them for topics that, I don't know. There's people complain about 3-minute videos. They don't like them. So I try to give people, I don't know. I try to break it up better. I don't know what I'm doing over here. Just winging it. Can the judge uphold Jaime having to pay his own legal fees? Like, not in terms of speaking on the judge, but is it legal? Yeah, if there's findings, he could make him pay his own legal fees. Oh, 3-minute videos don't allow comments or duets. Interesting. That too. There you go. Okay. Heading number 3. No grounds exist for Mr. Spears' suspension, and the request to do so on an ex parte basis is highly inappropriate. Although the court need not address the alternative relief requested in the ex parte, there are no grounds whatsoever to suspend Mr. Spears. For over 13 years, Mr. Spears has dutifully and faithfully served For over 13 years, Mr. Spears has dutifully and faithfully served as the conservator of his daughter's estate without any blemishes on the record. This is not an opinion. He has taken the estate from being in debt and facing tens of millions of dollars of lawsuits to a current value of well over $60 million. Mr. Spears' record as conservator speaks for itself. He has filed annual accountings for over a decade that have been thoroughly reviewed by Ms. Spears' attorneys and this court and subsequently approved without objection. The 12th account is still pending. Mr. Spears did all this while also serving as conservator of the person until 2019 and working hard with a team of professionals to restore the conservatee to good health, reunite her with her children, whom she had lost custody of and had no visitation, and help revive her career. Where's the footnote? Mr. Spears' counsel is unavailable on August 26th to 27th, 30th, September 7th, and 8th. Okay. Yeah, she was never able to pick her own lawyers. He was. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a concern that this whole, she's had the opportunity to review all of this. We've done, look at everything's been approved, reviewed, no objections, all's good, except for the fact that she was clearly very unhappy with her prior counsel. And there's allegations, rumors that her prior counsel was in cahoots with Jaime Spears at some point, or at least there was some communication. There's allegations of some communication between the two. Some would argue to the detriment of Britney. Also, all of this is not in opposition. It's labeled in opposition, but we don't oppose. Here's all the reasons why you shouldn't do this, but we're not going to oppose it. Which is very clearly a strategic purpose so that they don't suspend him, in my opinion. How can he file it earlier if he wasn't appointed until 7/14, I think. He filed it 7/24, 7/27. No specifics about improving conservatee's health? No. It's literally labeled as an opposition. Again, same. I don't. Could his attorneys face legal issues? I don't know. I always hate that question because you're representing your client's interests. I don't know. I don't get when they're like, you should have filed it earlier when she didn't have a lawyer. Yeah. I think that he needs more time to get everything cleaned up on paper. I agree. This is definitely a timing thing. We're going to go into his service as conservator. Throughout his service as conservator, Mr. Spears' sole motivation has been his unconditional love for his daughter and a fierce desire to protect her from those trying to take advantage of her. The conservatorship continues to exist. Thank you for that fact. And Mr. Spears continues to do the job that he was appointed to do. This court considered and denied a similar request to suspend Mr. Spears in November 2020, finding no basis to suspend him. See Exhibit A minute order dated November 10th. Just as before, there are absolutely no grounds to suspend Mr. Spears, and this request, if it is reached at all, which should be denied. I'm going to bookmark this real quick. Let's just scroll down to Exhibit A. The court finds that sufficient evidence, petition, appoint. The court denies without prejudice, meaning you could bring this back up, the relief requested to suspend Jaime Spears immediately upon appointment of Bessemer Trust as sole conservator of the estate. I read the minute order related to that hearing. And the way that was set up, one, the facts were not argued in a similar way that they're being argued here. There was not this like, Britney Spears' medical team thinks that he needs to be removed. The person thinks that he needs to be removed. Britney Spears' own mother thinks that he needs to be removed. Britney Spears has requested and said that this is weighed heavily on her and continues to affect her and requests his removal. None of that was represented at that November hearing. In fact, from what I read, and I'll have to go back today and read the rest of the transcript, it was very oddly set forth that like Bessemer Trust was appointed or was nominated, and Jaime Spears ended up behind the scenes outside of Britney Spears' counsel's nomination of Bessemer. The dogs are going to bark. There's a huge golf tournament in front of me. Side note that Tim and I actually started and are no longer a part of. Drunk fest right now, and so the dogs are just gonna bark at everything, and I'm not gonna be able to stop them. I can't. I've got all the doors locked, closed. Anyway, so the November hearing, Jaime Spears went behind Britney Spears' attorney's back, communicated directly with Bessemer and Jaime communicated directly, and then it was presented at the hearing, like there was a request to appoint them as co-conservator, and then at the hearing or a couple days before, Britney Spears' attorney was like, hey, we'd actually just like Bessemer and to remove Jaime, but there wasn't this like actual evidentiary hearing on why that should happen, just like, hey, we think it should. So that was all very confusing. And completely different circumstances, in my opinion, from what happened then to what happened now. And Matthew Rosengart says, like, listen, the standard for this is so low. All we need to do is act in the conservative's best interest. I haven't seen one person, one interested party outside of Jaime's team say, Jaime's doing the best. He is absolutely the best person for this job. So, Mr. Rosengart's request to suspend Jaime is based on, one, untested testimony provided by Miss Spears at the June 23rd and July 14th hearing. Untested. Y'all! Hey! Didn't work. Sorry about that yelling. Okay. Untested testimony, i.e., y'all can't trust my daughter. You're going off of what Britney said? 2, allegations and events largely related to health and medical issues for which Jody Montgomery has been responsible for since late 2018. And 3, vague, conclusory, and unchallenged declarations submitted by Lynn Spears, Jody Montgomery, and Mr. Rosengart himself. At a minimum, Mr. Rosengart's suspension request raises serious and complicated legal and factual issues that require a full opportunity to be heard and cannot be resolved on a non-appearance ex parte basis. Actually, that's a good point. I think that this isn't a court hearing. I think that this is just going to be submitted before the court, so no one's showing up. That's probably why we're not getting real-time updates. It did say non-appearance. I don't know why that didn't register until just now. Non-appearance ex parte basis, yeah. So, like, submit it to the court, have the court sign off. Which means I should also keep up the LA County Superior Court. See if anything got determined. Yeah, this is Jaime's response. Sorry, guys. It was filed and available this morning. No, last document is the opposition. Okay. For example, Mr. Rosengart relies heavily on the unsupported and hearsay assertion that the medical team believes that Mr. Spears must be removed. There is absolutely no explanation of any basis for this, but it seems to be related to the testimony provided by Ms. Spears at the June 23rd status hearing, covering a wide variety of issues involving both the conservatorship of the person and the estate, including but not limited to serious allegations regarding forced medical treatment and therapy, improper medical care, and limitations on personal rights, to name a few. These issues regarding Ms. Spears' medical team are indeed serious, but Mr. Spears has not been in control of his daughter's medical treatment since late 2018. Underlined, bolded statement, it was Jody Montgomery, along with the Conservatives' former attorney Sam Ingham, who admitted Ms. Spears to a facility in early 2019, including but not limited to signing the admittance documents. Ms. Montgomery has continued to have control of Ms. Spears' medical treatment and personal life ever since. Based on Ms. Spears' statements to the court, it is clear that Ms. Spears does not know or remember that Ms. Montgomery directed and coordinated the medical treatment she is so angry about, or her former court-appointed counsel's involvement in and approval of same. Interesting. Ms. Montgomery has continued to have control of Ms. Spears' medical treatment and personal life ever since. Mr. Rosengart also quotes Ms. Montgomery's assertion that removing Jaime is critical, but neither explains why. Never explains why? It is unclear whether this assertion is related to Ms. Spears' current psychological state, her medical treatment, or something else completely. This claim is ironic. I don't like this whole, the shade. You can be professionally shady, but please don't, I'm just not a fan of the writing style here. This claim is ironic, however, in light of Miss Montgomery's recent plea for help from Mr. Spears when Miss Montgomery felt that Miss Spears was spiraling out of control. Mr. Spears received a call from Miss Montgomery on July 9th, 2021, in which she sounded very distraught, expressed concern about Britney's recent behavior, and her refusal to listen to or even see her doctors. Miss Montgomery pleaded for Mr. Spears' help to address these issues. He explained to her that he would do anything to help his daughter, but was limited in this ability since he no longer had access or insight into any of his daughter's medical information. Interesting. Mr. Rosengart also raises financial issues regarding the amount of attorney's fees that have been incurred by the estate and payments that were made to the Conservatives' former business manager. So Lou Taylor's no longer involved? I didn't see a formal withdrawal from her or any kind of PR statement. Interesting. But these are ongoing matters that have been at issue for some time in the proceedings over the 12th account. They support no claim of urgency sufficient to justify ex parte relief, nor could such unsubstantiated allegations support a request for suspension. These matters must be resolved in the accounting proceedings where they were raised. So what he's saying is, you're saying that we're just spending money on attorney's fees, but that's been discussed. That's been known for months. It's been discussed for at least 2 months in court records. So that then, if this has been an issue for the last 2 months, doesn't justify the urgency cited to move this hearing up. So you can have an issue with the attorney's fees, but you don't get to say that the issue that you have with attorney's fees that's been known by all the parties for the last 2 months somehow magically became an issue right now to move the hearing up this month. That's a fair statement. The problem is that's it, all of these things taken out of context. Some of the things he's stating here are correct, but all of that out of context is out of context. Put together, it is arguably an ex parte, the supported basis for an ex parte. But he's not fighting this. Danielle says, as Rosengart said, the fact that Jaime is fighting this speaks volumes. He's been very clear, not fighting it, just arguing the hell out of it. I don't have an issue. I mean, I really have an issue, but I don't have an issue. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, this motion has no basis, but like, we'll have it. It's fine. You want it in August instead of September? We'll do it in August instead of September. There's really no reason to have it in August instead of September. I don't understand, but fine. Ironic, but fine. Conclusion. The issues raised in the petition for removal must be addressed by the court, and they will be addressed in due course. If the court is able to accommodate Mr. Rosengart's request to advance the hearing date for the petitions, these issues will be addressed by the end of this month or shortly thereafter. As noted above, I want you to hear me loud and clear. Mr. Spears does not object to the primary relief requested by the ex parte application. We are okay with moving the court date up. Please don't suspend me. But Mr. Rosengart's suggestion that the court could suspend Jaime without a hearing after 13 years of admirable service, carefully monitored and approved by this court, which is like a slight jab to the court, like, hey, remember, if they're saying that I fucked up and you let me fuck up, then you haven't fucked up. Saying, is simply without merit. Unsubstantiated assertions can never provide adequate basis for ex parte suspension. Though there's no citing to any authority for that. Yeah, they're literally throwing shade everywhere. So what will be interesting is this nice little short declaration here by Jaime Spears, which is the first that I've seen in a minute. If he's suspended, is his attorney's fee still being paid by Britney's estate? I don't see what the basis for that would be. The only question I have is if Lynn Spears' attorneys are being paid for by Britney's estate as an interested party. Because if Lynn Spears' attorney's fees are being paid for by the estate as an interested party, then I guess arguably he could as well. But I don't think that Rosengart would allow that. Okay, declaration of Jaime Spears. I am the father of Britney Spears. Since my initial appointment, I have continuously served as a conservator of my daughter's estate in the following capacities. Co-conservator of the estate with Andrew Wallet until March 5th, 2019. Then as sole conservator of Miss Spears' estate after Mr. Wallet's resignation. And briefly again as co-conservator of the estate with Bessemer Trust Company of California until July 23rd, 2021. I also served as the conservator of my daughter's person from February 1, 2008 until September 9, 2019, when Jody Montgomery was appointed temporary conservator of the person, Interesting, though. He says 2018. Okay. Although I did not formally step down as conservative of the person until September 2019, I had not been in control of my daughter's medical treatment since late 2018 when, due to my own personal health issues, I had to step back in this role. Instead, on August 21st, 2018, I hired Miss Montgomery to serve as my daughter's case manager and assist in all aspects of her medical decisions and treatment. Here's my issue with that statement. You were still the conservator of the person until 2019, late 2019, and you controlled the case manager whether or not you served as in the formal role on the day-to-day basis. So you don't then get to say there's a whole year of treatment. Shit happened in that year for sure, because that's right before or during the time when Britney ends up withdrawing and saying, fuck y'all, I'm not performing. Something must have happened. Anyway, he's trying to pawn off that period hard in both the opposition, the non-opposition opposition, and this declaration. It was Miss Montgomery, along with the Conservatives' former attorney Sam Ingham, who admitted Miss Spears to a facility in early 2019, including, but not limited to, signing the admittance documents. There it is. That's why. Miss Montgomery has continued to have control of my daughter's medical treatment and personal life ever since. On July 9, 2021, I received a phone call from Miss Montgomery. During our call, Miss Montgomery sounded very distraught and expressed how concerned she was about my daughter's recent behavior and overall mental health. Miss Montgomery explained that my daughter was not timely or properly taking her medications, was not listening to the recommendations of her medical team, and refused to even see some of her doctors. Miss Montgomery said she was very worried about the direction my daughter was heading in and directly asked for my help to address these issues. Fucking bad idea. Even if, I don't know, this doesn't line up though. I don't know. I don't understand. And this is just vague enough to where there could have been a phone call saying like, after the June 23rd testimony, she's really having a hard time. She's really worried about how shit's going to go down. She doesn't trust anybody anymore. And maybe the phone call was specifically stating like, I need you to step down, or, you know what I mean? The specifics of the phone call aren't discussed, so we don't know. We also discussed the allegations that my daughter made at the recent status hearing on June 23rd, 2020. Fucking get the date right. 2021. And the need to address these directly with my daughter. Miss Montgomery acknowledged that many of my daughter's statements at the last hearing were not true and attributed her statements to the fact that my daughter is mentally sick. Quote, mentally sick. July 9, I'm scrolling back in the history. This is the time of that freaking request for the security. Interesting. That's odd. It's just very weird to me that they had all of these conversations back and forth. Attorneys were involved. Jody had talked to Jaime and said, hey, I need private security. Jody represented to the court that Jaime said, sure, as long as the court says yes, you can have it. But if the court determines that it's not a necessary expense, then you're going to have to pay it back to the estate. Jody says, fine. And then once Jody files that, then Jaime Spears responds and says, never happened. The dates of the phone calls are different between the two parties and their declarations. It's very, very interesting. Are we discussing new TMZ article about her being mentally sick per Jaime? This is a fucking sign. When did this come out? 9:13 a.m. If this doesn't fucking prove that Jaime has some kind of in with TMZ, this document, when did I download it? It's 10:32. I checked this morning. 9:42 is when I saw it. I know I checked the court's website at this time at 9:13. Well, maybe it was like 8:45. And this is what you get out of it? I don't know. Something doesn't seem right. Something doesn't seem right. That's this whole thing that we've all discussed. What you got out of it is that Jody called her mentally sick. Okay. Ironic that you guys are telling me this as I'm like hitting that. TMZ is getting paid for Media Matters. Yeah. It makes me sad. Okay. I explained to Miss Montgomery that I would do anything I could to help my daughter, but was limited in my ability since I do not have access or insight into any of my daughter's medical information. After Miss Montgomery shared her detailed concerns about my daughter's recent behavior, safety, and overall health, she raised potential options, including a 5150 psychiatric hold, which raised my concerns. After Miss Montgomery shared her detailed concerns about my daughter's recent behavior, safety, and overall health, she raised potential options, including a 5150 psychiatric hold. After July 9th, and this is why I go back, they were already fighting. The discussion, okay, June 23rd hearing happens. Investigating petition, request, opposition, where's the opposition? July 9th is when she replied to James Spears' response to CAC. I'm just going to rebuy this because I don't want to have to go back and figure out where it is. I want to figure out one, somebody's getting the dates wrong here. And two, if this document was filed on this date, I got to make sure that this is what I'm thinking of. They were not on good terms. Is any of this admissible since it's hearsay? This is actually evidence. All right, let's see when this comes through. Okay. After Miss Montgomery shared her detailed concerns, the conversation ended shortly thereafter when Miss Montgomery said she would update me on my daughter's condition and would follow up on what I can do to help. On July 13th, I received an email from Miss Montgomery in which she acknowledged our call, but backtracked on most of the details she shared with me and discounted the need for a 5150 and then fucking attached the email. Then attached the email. Talking about Britney Spears. Yeah, if this isn't gaslighting, I don't know what it is. Did not attach the email. That's what I'm saying. Then attack it. If what you're saying is my daughter's so unwell that the conservative, her person, who, by the way, has agreed with everything that Rosengart has said and done and has opposed Jaime and been in open conflict with Jaime for the past month, in my opinion, in court, going back and forth saying, no, what you said isn't true. No, what you said isn't true. No, you told me you were going to pay for security. No, you did. And then what I'm trying to find right now is the back and forth where Jaime requested the evidentiary hearing on Britney Spears' allegations from June 23rd, and Jody Montgomery saying, that's not what this is for. You're asking the court to have an evidentiary hearing proving or disproving the conservatee's claims. We aren't going back. Like, you don't get to use this court and your daughter's money to disprove your culpability in her past medical treatment and things that she said. What we're doing here is trying to work in Britney's best interest. Why are you using her money to try to prove your own innocence? Is he trying to take everyone down with him? I'd go a step further and say, allegedly, arguably, strategically, potentially, what he's doing is trying to induce fear, distrust, concern in the mind of Britney so that she no longer trusts Jody. I don't know why she won't stop working. I think he needs a 5150. Yeah. Why is my email? I'm like, why isn't my emails coming through? No, it's not coming through though. Oh, pay for it. This was a non-appearance, so like just requesting the court look at it and then authorize it or not authorize it. And since it's not opposed, I assume the court, but again, I didn't see the proposed order, which is interesting. This was filed on July 9th. So he's saying on July 9th, I got a phone call from Jody Montgomery and she said Britney needs to be 5150'd. July 9th, Jody Montgomery's reply to Jamie Spears' response for appointment of Jody Montgomery as conservator of the person. Mr. Spears and Sorry, someone called. Yeah, I'll post this on YouTube later. Mr. Spears, so on July 9th, Jody Montgomery filed her response to Jamie's request for this evidentiary hearing. And her first argument is Jody and Jamie should be working as a team to ensure Britney's best interests are being met, that she's on the path to recovery and termination of the conservatorship. Instead, Jamie has decided it is time to start finger pointing and media attacks, turning what should be a protective proceeding for his daughter into litigation warfare. In the process, he has demanded multiple evidentiary hearings to defend himself against Miss Spears' accusations on her dime and has spent $10,000 a workday to fund his public relations and legal fees. Now, if Jody Montgomery is filing this document on July 9th, do I think it is then likely that she's also calling Jamie Spears and giving a whole rundown of how Britney's doing, what's going on in Britney's medical life, what the need or necessity for a 5150? Something doesn't make sense. None of this lines up, in my opinion. It doesn't make sense that Jody Montgomery is going to court and saying, we don't need an evidentiary hearing. We need to help Britney. And we don't need to use her money to further try to disprove claims that were made by her on June 23rd. And also behind the scenes calling Jamie and saying, Britney's really bad. She's really, really, really bad. And I need your help. You, a man who now has declared that he hasn't been involved since 2018, and it's openly noted that he doesn't even have any communications with his daughter. What the fuck would he do? Like, it doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. I'm gonna have to walk through and get I'm trying to let these dogs out so they stop barking. I'm trying to make everyone look worse than he does. Please don't judge. I'm gonna leave everything dark so you can't see anything. So make it make sense 2024. Also, California is on fire again, for those who care. That sky is supposed to be blue. It is not blue. We have a dog that likes to go through little holes in the fence that we're removing. So, same in Ontario. The world is on fire. I'm in San Joaquin Valley, so the air quality is like 180 something, I think, today. It's really, really, really bad. The sky is literally, it looks like we're in Monterey, or like somewhere where there's like fog overcast, but it's just smoke. It's like fog overcast, but it's just smoke. Let's go cycle potty. There's fog every morning in California. No. Well, smog, I guess you could argue. No, I never feel the need to contact the lawyers just because it's not my place. And I also don't think I'm like the brilliant one here. Like, I'm showing everything to you guys, like parsing it out from legal knowledge to like layman's terms, but they are saying the exact same thing that I am. Turn the filter down. Okay. Y'all be having fires and earthquakes and I can't. You know what? The last earthquake we had that was like it was solid and it was really nearby. I think it was like 20 miles away from us. Tim and I were sitting together. Sophia was in our house and we didn't feel a thing. And then there were like 5 after that, didn't feel a thing. It's a non-appearance motion. So I can keep checking to see if anything else has been filed and I'm not seeing anything. No. I'm just reading the documents. I'm not getting a real-time update. Shake and bake baby California slogan. That's funny. I don't know about the perfume lawsuit, but I'll try to look into it. Will she have any chance with this judge? I think that the application itself, today's application is not going, it's going to get granted. There's no opposition to it. Jaime himself said, yeah, here's the dates that I'm available. Here's the dates that my attorney's available. Let's go. Let's move forward. I'm specifically not opposing this. He said, I'm not opposing your request to move up the date. I think it's bullshit. I think there is no basis for it. I think that everything that you've cited as a basis for it is not a basis for it. I think that all the things that you're saying are wrong and untrue, but I'm not opposing it. I'm not opposing it. So it'll get granted unless the court sees something that none of us see. But I'm definitely getting the feeling that Jaime is going to try to take Jody down with him. There was an attempted opposition. Yeah, an opposition in name only, but like, we're not really going to oppose it. No need to oppose. Let's just move forward. Judge approving request to pick her own counsel should show she has capacity to have say in conservatorship. I will put this live on YouTube, yes. There's nothing on the court's website about the hearing. How is media getting a hold of info so fast? I find it very odd that TMZ went with the line that's like, oh my God, her own person said she's mentally unwell. Mind you, let's see. Can you shush? Oh my God. I'm scrolling on TMZ and a lady that just followed me, Claire Dunn, is on there this morning too. Interesting. So the next story from 1 a.m., Britney Spears, Jamie's replacement will audit him. Let's see how he spent his money. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ, if Rubin is appointed, the first order of business will be to conduct forensic accounting. Jesus. Wow. You think a forensic accountant is going to conduct forensic accounting? Man, that is some journalistic investigative work. Wow. I can't. One of the big ticket items Rosengart has flagged, a $500,000 payment to Britney's former business manager. Can somebody correct me if I'm wrong? When did Lou Taylor resign? I'm confused because this is the second time now in the response in this non-opposition opposition. They say former manager. 2019, Lou Taylor resigned? Why have I not heard this? Grachi says first time he's hearing of it. People are saying 2019. Some people are saying 2020. Okay. Maybe I'm just not realizing it. But no, because 2019 is when she asked for the payment and said, Google it. That's a good idea. Lou Taylor resigns Britney Spears. In December 2019, okay, the court docs state TriStar Sports and Entertainment Group has resigned as Britney's business manager without prior notice to Britney. This is November 4, 2020. Okay, November 2020. Okay. Oh, did she resign but not TriStar? Interesting. I'll take who's on payroll for $1,000, Alex. How do you see this all ending for Brit? I don't know. This is chess, not checkers. I see today's request being granted. I don't see the basis for an opposition for the ultimate petition to remove Jamie. And then it becomes what Rosengart chooses to do, how he chooses to move forward, the options are open. My thoughts on it are I'll give you a couple different theories. The best friend guy posted something about it. Okay. One theory is he leaves a conservatorship in place for a while. Let's let Jason Rubin really dig in, get his bearings, operate it for a little bit, because there's things that you can see past tense, like sitting in this chair looking back at records and documents and payments. But then sometimes there's the ability to see from an operational standpoint, who's coming to you asking for contracts, who's coming to you asking for current payment, not just payments that were made in the past, but people who are owed money, different relationships. So theoretically, you keep it open for a minute and say, let's just dig in, leave it in place. It's going to cost Britney a hell of a lot less money because there's not going to be press tours for Jamie personally on Britney's payroll. Another option is Rosengart moves at expeditious speed to end the conservatorship and say, first we want to cut off Jamie, and then, our next petition is going to be by the end of the year to resolve the conservatorship as a whole, but remaining outstanding the concerns that Britney has for her father's handling of her finances and bringing any and all claims against him, teeing it up for a potential criminal prosecution that would have to be referred to whatever authority has jurisdiction over that. What else? Those are the two things I think. I feel like he will say, we have one chance, take our time. I agree. I think you see another 6 months elapse before anything else happens. This stuff will take time. If you think how long it takes you to do your taxes in a year. This is like that times 100 for 13 years. So this is not something that Jason, first they have to get the books. Then they have to go through the books. Then they have to verify payments and people and contracts. And there's going to be a whole team. Why haven't they had Jody replaced as well then? Britney has expressed some trust in Jody. I hope Britney can handle another 6+ months. Jesus. She has a door. This is what I will get the most comments. When I download this and upload it to YouTube, this is what I will get the most comments about. My hair and playing with my hair and the dog barking. So if you've made it this far and you're on YouTube, I don't care. There's literally nothing I can do. I think for right now, let's just keep some aspect of stability in place. If she trusts her at all, and pretending like Britney should just listen to everybody around her and trust everybody is just pretending like the last 13 years didn't happen. So if there's anybody that she has any trust for outside of Rosengart, let's just leave her in place for the moment. I can't recap what happened today. It would take too long, but I will download this and put it up on YouTube later. What do they expect you to do? De-voice box your dogs? Somebody made a comment on a YouTube video that was like, I really like your content, but like, can you deal with the dogs or like put them somewhere or have somebody else deal with them? And it was on a day when Tim was working and Sophia was doing something. Like she was on, I can't remember, but I was like, oh, I think she was in the shower or something. And I was like, no, like there's nothing else I can do. Did the judge make a decision? Let me see. Why am I obsessed with your hoodie? It's not a hoodie. It's just a long sleeve shirt. And it is, I think it's still available. It's on Teddy Fresh. I liked the bottom. It says 2020 still over and my life still sucks. Nope, nothing else. What is Jason Rubin's role? He is the nominated successor conservator of the estate. So he's been nominated by Rosengart and Britney to be the new conservator of the estate, a role which is currently being filled by Jamie Spears, Britney's father. Did you see she just got her first iPad? Yeah, this I hate. I want a Teddy Fresh shirt to support Queen Gila. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. Is Jamie saying he doesn't want Jason? No. The only agreement Jamie is being clear to make in his opposition, non-opposition is we do not oppose moving the date. Therefore, any other relief requested, if we were to oppose moving the date, is null and void, unnecessary. We don't even need to discuss my suspension as Jamie if I'm not opposing moving the date. Has there been anything publicly said by Britney's brother? Not that I've seen. I did see Sam Lutfi posted on Twitter. I can't stand this dog anyway. Sam Lutfi posted that he was like the best one out of the family and that he really never did anything to hurt Britney, but I don't know. How do you get access to the court documents? Thanks for asking. A couple people have had the impression that I'm like obfuscating or frauding the court by getting access to these documents as an attorney and then publicly discussing them. These are public documents. Anybody can download them and buy them. But you do have to purchase them. I don't know. Let me try to see. Shh. Let me tell you. If anybody wanted to, they could. Oh, wow. It's $1 a page. Ish. So I downloaded this morning the reply. Just now, I downloaded an 11-page document by Jody Montgomery, reply to Jamie Spears, response, CAC, Sam Ingham, and then Jamie Spears' response to temporary conservator of the person, which was 5 pages. So that's a total of 16 pages, and it cost me $12. So anybody can buy them, but they are expensive. How much have I spent in total? I don't want you guys to hear this number and then think I'm rich. I'm not, and my husband doesn't know. Let me tell you. My account. Don't say. I don't care. It is what it is. I mean, you guys could figure it out anyway. I downloaded all the documents. This is the only thing that's stopping me. It's not $2,500. This is the only thing that's stopping me from downloading all of the prior accountings, because that's what I'd really like to do. $1,112. TikTok money does not pay for it. TikTok doesn't pay anything, honestly. I mean, it's substantial money if you can get up there. When I got 100,000 followers, my videos tend to get more views, and that helps. But like, I got 1 million view day once, and like the total was $30. So if you think about that, the amount of money that I had to like use to download, and this is obviously not all TikTokers, and this money is a lot of money to a lot of people, and I understand and appreciate that. Very nothing. But what I'm viewing this in context of is the amount of money I have to spend to be able to provide those videos is just, TikTok money doesn't cover it. And I'm not asking it to. I'm still just doing this because I have a Patreon, but I'm not super worried about it right now, you guys. Dogs barking makes you feel like we're at home. What I wish I could do right now is go sit outside and enjoy this day, but the fires are like, it's horrible. It's horrible. I've asked friends in my area for resources and nonprofits that are helping the fire victims, because this is getting dangerously close to Paradise, where they've already suffered 2 devastating fires in the last decade. Devastating. Like, it just tore through the town. And so at some point, if you guys want to donate to something, I changed my air filters. Yes, I need to do that. And I have air filters or air purifiers running through the house. But I will probably be throwing those up. The fires are awful. Yeah. Paradise was so bad, and it happened twice. Where is it on fire in Northern California? Up by Sacramento, north of Sacramento, and then Chico area. Where do we donate? I don't know. The bad air is affecting Colorado. I will check to see if there's a decision before I get off. There hasn't. I checked like 5 minutes ago, and there wasn't anything yet. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I have therapy at 1:30 today, so I'm very excited about that. When I have therapy, I feel like after you get a massage where you're just like, you feel kind of put together, like, I don't know, there's something like healing about it, and I get energy from it. I'm very excited about that. It's been honestly the best money I've ever spent on my own autoimmune disease. No decision yet. We're waiting on a decision that's likely on my hips get in the way so often, on the request to move the hearing date up. So the court's probably just looking, there's no opposition being filed on that part. So the court's just trying to figure out right now what date works for everybody. I'm in Sacramento, no sky here. Yeah, it's crazy, you guys, when it gets really bad, when the fires kick up, there will be, like, we'll go out our front door and there's ash everywhere. And we can be 100 miles away from the fire. Yeah, I have Crohn's disease. I've had it for, years, but I got diagnosed in 2008. And my surgery was also in 2008, so it's ripe for a flare-up. and it's been flaring up. It's horrible. Okay, I will come on live later. And here's the caveat to this. I have a Patreon. I think I have like a Venmo listed somewhere, but don't worry about it, guys. I'm not super worried about it. Save your money and your donations. If you guys have any money to donate right now, when I can get the resources up for the fire victims. I will be online later. Do me a favor. If you haven't yet, follow my husband, Tim is not a lawyer, because he is supposed to make 4 videos by today. His failure to make 4 videos by today requires him take 4 shots of tequila tonight, because he didn't, he hasn't, and I know he won't. And so I will be live later. We can recap whatever happened today, and we will watch Tim take 4 shots of tequila. It will be funny. It will be funny. So that's at Tim is not a lawyer. Tim is the best. Yeah. Tim is going to be fun tonight. All right, guys. I will see you guys later. It'll be, I saw Sandy ask, it'll probably be sometime between, this is a wide range, but like 3 and 4:30 p.m. PST. Yes, I do watch Emily D. Baker. She's awesome. She's awesome. All right. Talk to you guys soon.